Hello, hockey fans of all ages, shapes, and sizes. I wanted to talk about Calder candidates and other player rumors, maybe some breakout seasons here. Um, Justin Hall, Toronto's favorite whipping boy, signed for 3.4 mil in the offseason for a 3-year deal. And he, as in Canadian Pickers, someone else's trash is someone else's treasure, as in the perspective of the fans. Hall is leading. He was leading the league in plus minus. Now Quinn Hughes is ahead of him, and a couple of the Vegas defense, of course. Their team's an absolute powerhouse. Could repeat as a cup. My prediction is it's probably Vegas against Toronto in the finals, but we'll see what happens there. So Justin Hall, stable meat and potatoes kind of defenseman that, a lot of Leaf fans despised. And good for him for, having a rebound season and being that stable D-man there. And obviously Stevie Y saw something in him that the Toronto management didn't. And that 3.4 mil is vote of confidence, I guess, to play up to your contract if you're a player, right? If somebody sees something in you, you're obviously going to work harder and try to prove that person right because they've done you a solid. So you got Luke Hughes, who's a potential Calder candidate as far as D-men. Who else? I know Matthew Nyes is not a D-man, but he was playing defense on the, or at least at the top on the power play the other night and made an insane save at the line, which led to the goal for Bert. And Morgan Riley's got a couple and nice assists there on the tip in. Very Pavelski-esque, speaking of playing in Dallas. And Dallas has one of the best rookie names ever, Logan Stankoven. I'm not sure. I don't see his name on the chart, so I'd say he's a long shot for Calder. You've got Zach Benson, winger for the Sabres. Not sure about him. And Devin Levi. I mentioned the brick wall in my earlier cast, and I think he's definitely a Calder. Of course, you can't forget Connor Bedard. And I think Fantilli, to me, I was really surprised that Anaheim passed him by. There's always more to it when you look at these things long term, but I think he should have went number 2. And I think seeing him in the Canadian team in the over in Europe there, he looked like a standout on that team. So very poised, and I'd say he's probably one of my favorites. I'd say the brick wall, Fantilli, and Bedard are probably my favorites to win the odds on to win the Calder this year. What other guys are out there? So there's Logan Cooley is American kid, teammates with Nyes, and of course Nyes, aforementioned there. Who else do we got? We've got a couple, I guess that's kind of the major rookies there. And just before I go on to other players, I want to say, just put Makar's name on the Norris right now. He just did like a 1v4 again. The guy's insane. Good Western Canadian kid there. And I think they should. I've been advocating this. I really hope they create a Bobby Orr trophy and maybe he's the first person to win it. Very Bobby Orr-esque, him and Carl, the way that they break out pucks almost on their own, and they can either rush it or give and go, or just kind of make some crazy plays like the Carlson sauce pass that we've seen a few times in his career. So Hall, wouldn't that make the if they create a Bobby Orr trophy and then the Norris goes to the most defensive defenseman, that would make Leafs Nation probably cringe if Justin Hall was in the named in that. I think good for him if it happens. And I'd say Quinn Hughes definitely should be in that conversation already. He's leading plus minus. He got the captaincy. Good for him. And I want to say that somebody should have offer sheeted Alexis Lafreniere in the offseason, in my opinion. And I did think that before. I have an email trail to prove it if it ever comes down to trying to prove it. But I definitely thought somebody should have offer sheeted him. I didn't know he'd start off the way he is, but it looks like he's a breakout candidate. And obviously he's not in the Calder conversation. I think he's already got 3 goals, maybe in 4, and he's getting a chance in the top 6, I believe, now. And of course, the Kane rumors for will he come to Buffalo? Will he go to Detroit or whatever? And then you got some other guys out there lingering, like Phil Kessel, which to me, it's insane that no team has knocked on his door. He's the only player ever to play 1,000 games in a row. Brent Burns, I think, is getting close to 800 games in a row. That guy's like an absolute cardio machine, workhorse. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Doughty. I think Drew Doughty's been injured a couple times, though, so maybe he doesn't have an Ironman, but both workhorses. The guy would show up sometimes out of shape for camp, and he likes Coca-Cola versus like water, and he can eat as many hot dogs as Joey Chestnut. Like, the guy's an animal. I don't know, like, the durability. Maybe some of these guys that are wound so tight and so in shape, maybe you have a little bit of a belly or something coming into camp, and that's a little more flexibility. I'm mostly kidding. Now it's so scientific and it's so elite, these guys, the skating and stuff. You can't get by like you could in the 80s or 70s, just, doing beer league in the summer and just show up and make the team. I'll shout out Bill Guerin for his hilarious interview with Chicklets that one time and talking about that and stuff. And I think O-Dog as well on TSN, he's talked about some of those things and making camp and stuff. And back then it was like the bigger you were, the better. Now it's all these slight and really slim guys and fast guys. So I think back when I was clutch and grab and stuff, and I joked about Jumbo earlier, but his he was very slim and like very tall, and his physique was slim. And he bulked up after his first couple seasons. Then he started putting up 100 points. And I see something similar with Jack Hughes. Even though he is pretty slight, his confidence is through the roof and stuff like that. So I'd love to see where does Pat Kane sign? Where does Phil Kessel sign? I'd love to see Kessel on the Leafs, honestly. That'd be hilarious. For like, the guy might win a 4th cup, and he might not even be a mainstay on the team, but I think the guy can still score. He's just a total shit show in the locker room, apparently, like a really fun, optimistic guy. And I'm a big believer in that. And when we were kids, Jumbo was always so positive, and he was joking around, keeping it light. After a tough loss, like, shake it off, guys, don't worry about it. And he never let guys dwell. And I feel like this in work as well too. Never dwell, just solve problems. So just get to work. If you got things to work on, and confidence will pick up, and times will be better. So the last couple guys, sophomores as well, as William Eklund and Thomas Bordeleau. I'm not worried about Bordy. I think whether he gets sent down this year or not, I think he's a bona fide number 2 second liner in the future, with Clutch or Couture out. Hopefully he gets more chances. I'm excited about this Justin Bailey kid. I saw he was an alternate in Kitchener Rangers and a scoring leader, which is pretty cool. So hopefully he'll get a shot at some point in the big club. And Gushin, I'm high on Daniel Gushin, lethal shot, and he's really small guy too, so he's like a little jitterbug out there, almost like a Sergei Samsonov was. So it always depends on the quality of your team and how many chances you get to. So I don't think anybody in the Sharks is going to particularly shine this year. I do think Hoffman will probably lead the team in scoring, but he's being like sheltered on the 4th line and stuff right now. It's bizarre. Like, I don't know if I think they'll probably let Quinn run with it this year. and just do whatever the heck he wants. And if the team's in total disarray, it's going to help the slacken for Macklin. So I don't particularly think his job's in jeopardy. But going beyond this, I mean, if he can't get like next year, if he can't get the best out of his guys, and let's say we get a high draft pick with the Sharks this year, Macklin or Cole Eiserman or whatever, or the the standout Russian kid in the top three potentially. I think when Clutch and and Vlasic and some of these other guys, Barabanov, come back, like Barbie and Clutch had a really good chemistry last year. So as long as those guys are passing to each other, I think Boards, him and Eklund, their chemistry is undeniable, but I think they'll probably try Eklund on the top line a little bit. I just think they're doing a disservice to Hoffman. And, like I saw his preseason, his shot's lethal. So I'm really surprised he's not playing the top line. Maybe he's in the doghouse for whatever he's done to Quinn, but I think that he should be up there. Like, to me, the top line should be Hoffman, Hurdle, and Duclair, and I thought Zadina kind of would get a shot the way he came out, but now it looks like he's in the doghouse too. So anyway, that's kind of my Calder and player spotlight run through. So just on the Lafreniere thing, I think with Kotkaniemi, sorry if I'm not saying that right, that was sort of a revenge by the Sebastian Aho offer sheet. So Carolina got back at Montreal there when they tried to grab Aho. So, and we all see how amazing Aho is. I don't blame Montreal for doing it, but GMs kind of have an elephant brain or a really long-term memory for those kind of things. I think they hold grudges. So while I think it would have been awesome for the Sharks to offer sheet Lafreniere or something in the off season, I didn't know it. Like I just felt like he was kind of due, and maybe a change of scenery for that guy would be good. But GMs do not forget these offer sheets too easily. So I think they hold a grudge, and maybe it's sort of passe or not ideal as if you're a GM to do business that way. You want a guy to kind of come to you and through the agency and some of these other things instead of forcing the issue. So maybe that's what's going on there, but we'll see how some of these, as I mentioned, the sophomores like Eklund and Bordelot are not eligible. I don't believe Bordelot is eligible. They both played, I think, more than 5 or 6 games or something last couple seasons with the big club. So, we'll see. It's probably, if it goes to a goalie, I think it could be Wall, especially if they go, pretty far or win the President's Trophy. I don't like the President's Trophy. It's a curse, though. So hopefully the Leafs are up there close in the standings, and then maybe Vegas wins the President's Trophy and the Leafs beat them in the finals. So that's it for now, and we'll see you next time.